Well, good afternoon, everybody. It's great to be here live with you guys. Always a pleasure. Last week we went over a whole bunch of things. This week we're going over some other things. It's really important to understand the difference between responsibility and accountability. And what is it regarding authority? So, today I want to talk to you about the responsibility and accountability and how it lands for you. What shows up? How does it occur in your world? How does it occur in your boss's world? How does it occur in your company? And then we'll relate to authority as well. So the words responsibility and accountability rear their heads when people start talking about results, right? We're all looking for results. I don't care if you're trying to lose weight or if you're trying to hit those KPIs or get the new customer or retain that customer for 4 quarters, especially when the desired results are not really achieved. And that's where I really see the question of what responsibility and accountability is, or authority. When those desired KPIs or results are not achieved, we start looking for that, or it might be a systemic problem. That's when remarks and phrases like who's responsible for missing the deadline show up, and which department is actually accountable, because communication gets kind of altered as we move forward. Begin to get thrown around of like, it's your job, it's your fault, well, whose is it? That's usually where I just step in. I take on the full accountability, the full responsibility, and the authority, and make sure that that gets done complete. Everyone is using these words, but are they really using them correctly? We often get questions around the difference between responsibility and accountability and how they tie to the achievement of said results. Many professionals we work with initially don't think that they have accountability issues, but rather believe that they have responsibility issues instead. It's not until we demonstrate the way we address accountability that they begin to really see that accountability, not responsibility, plays a major role in overcoming almost any challenge that they are facing and that you are facing. To do this, you need to first help them understand. Stephen R. Covey said, seek first to understand, then to be understood. So when you're seeking to help them understand that the definition of accountability is broken and must be fixed to truly grasp it. The dictionary, all right, dictionary.com, defines each as accountable, the subject to the obligation to report and explain or justify something. How does that get lost in translation? Responsible is to be answerable for something within one's power or control or management of said thing. While the words responsibility and accountability are often used interchangeably, I believe there's an important and fundamental difference between the two. When a result isn't achieved, and it's not achieved, that's when most of us start hearing words like responsibility and accountability. While responsibility is appreciated and often used correctly, accountability continues to be misperceived and gets a bad rap. It really does. I'm here to tell you why it shouldn't. It really shouldn't. Is more responsibility going to lead to success? I would say it does. A responsible team or organization can be successful in many ways. Define roles and job descriptions with focus. Establish clear organizational hierarchies. Have processes and systems in place. Have feedback sessions in the form of reviews, and not just annual, I should say. Even consistently hitting your KPIs and goals. But even then, organizations can still get siloed thinking and acting with reluctant behaviors around getting involved in things outside of their control. Furthermore, I thought you had it. When this happens, where are people ignoring and denying others' ability to positively contribute towards the desired result or the end result? Third, we also have attitudes where people justify the way they think and act to cover their tails. And finally, poor performance and development due to infrequent feedback or exchanges. How often are managers not really touching that subject of responsibility or what's not being done? And then the direct correlate to this is that on the month or the quarter or the year after a full 12 months, said employee missed all goals and objectives because the responsibility truly wasn't there. The last point around justification and feedback are possibly the most damaging. Justifying the way or you think or the act in effort to cover your tail pulls in the opposite direction. There's a correlate there of achieving results. Often snapping and not really getting the job done. And it also takes so much time away. And the resources to determine what others or organizations are really like. Someone has to be that integrity police to really identify where these responsibilities and accountabilities are broken and to create a structure in which one can actually work and operate. And when it comes to feedback, many organizations rely solely on performance reviews. How often are those being done? And it's typically too late if and when the person receives that feedback. There was a time that Becker Logistics used to do annual reviews. And that's all we did. There was no feedback in between the interim. How do we do that? With other companies, feedback only occurs when things go wrong. How often does that happen? It's a knee-jerk reaction, right? In the worst case, not at all. Maybe it's just overseen and not thought of. Organizations often try to solve these problems by redefining the responsibilities, reorganizing the company. What people do, and they're restructuring the way the work is completed, only to find out that changing where people sit in an organization or what their titles are won't necessarily change how they think and perform. What they are lacking is personal accountability. Maybe I'm missing a personal accountability. Maybe you are. How often do we really magnify and look at accountability for ourselves or the people that we're leading or our company? Involving a choice to move closer to the success that you and your organization truly want and desire. When you step up to greater personal accountability, employees stop blaming each other. Well, it was them, it was them, it was them. No. When that happens, I take on the responsibility. I take on full accountability. Stop blaming the salespeople and the marketplace or the conditions, the regulations. Companies stop blaming their competitors. And we all stop blaming the economy, really. You know, we're about to pass $1 trillion spending plan with our government for infrastructure, which is great. We really need that. That really is. Where's that money coming from? I wish I could write a check for $1 billion to increase our infrastructure here at Becker Logistics. But where's that money going to come from? I don't think Bank of America is going to really give that to me. You get the picture, right? Finding convenient reasons to shift that responsibility or blame is never effective and never brings better results. It really doesn't. Accountability. Let's really just take a look at accountability. Clearly defining that responsibility is certainly essential, But encouraging people to go a step further, to get personally involved, will secure better results every time. That's where taking accountability comes into play. The notion of taking accountability naturally sounds more significant than having responsibility. You are making the choice to go beyond what you're responsible for, carrying with it an idea of that true ownership, involvement, and engagement. Let's look at accountability as a team or an organization, in a workplace, a culture, where this positive, empowering vision of accountability is embraced. Where do you find that? Well, you'll find that in that type of environment. Let's hit a couple. People at all levels take ownership for the strategic results of that organization. Balls do not get dropped, and projects do not slip through the cracks. People think differently about their job that needs to get done, and they break down the barriers and collaborate to achieve the desired results, the right results. Why, you may ask? It's because accountability is a broader concept than responsibility. It's something that you do yourself, not something that someone else does for you or to you. Really. It's with this vision, or let's better go, a version of accountability, because it seems like there's several different types of versions of accountability that are out there. But with this version of accountability, that people are not only taking accountability for their results they need to achieve individually, but for the results that they are not 100% control of. Organizations embracing positivity need accountability to have their culture and the people that hold themselves accountable for the ultimate results of your organization. Now, getting positive accountability. It is not hard to see that prevailing notions of accountability need to be fixed. We need something more positively defined as personal choice to rise above one's circumstances and demonstrate the ownership necessary for achieving desired results. When you shift your mindset and have an open mindset, an outward mindset, and thought process, this way you'll begin to see and feel traction in yourself and also others that you're working with. When individuals, teams, and organizations choose greater accountability, you see and get more. More ownership, more performance, more innovation, more heart, and better results. So how does authority really relate to accountability and responsibility? It's a great question. Authority gives you the ability to make decisions, whether that pertains to your daily activities, your purchasing potential, or allocating resources. Typically, authority is given to managers and the top personnel in a company to help them guide a team. It's a guiding force and achieve the business goals and objectives that we all said that we want to achieve. Without authority, it's simply impossible to delegate task and get things done. Authority enables a leader to delegate work and give instructions to their employees who accept it because of their authority to make those decisions. Those people have to have integrity, authenticity, being cause in the matter, and taking on things larger than themselves. They also have to be those people that are exercising that leadership as their natural self-expression. Think about it this way. Parents have authority over their children, right? If the parents out there. Now, if we have authority over our children and use that authority to give orders, tell them what to do, and discipline them if necessary. Well, the same is true in business. In this setting, a boss, a manager, has the authority to tell his or her employees what to do and then carry out those responsibilities. And if it's not performed, there's detriments that have to happen. There's conversations that have to be said. Paperwork may have to be done. In a typical organization, you may have an executive director, a chief executive officer, or a board of director, or the board who have authority over the entire workplace and what is going to happen. So why do so many companies getting it wrong? Why do they get accountability and responsibility totally wrong? It's because there's not enough attention that is paid to the details of said things. It really takes time to break this down and really understand it from the top all the way down. And it can't stop there. We need to continue to clearly define what each person is doing, what they're responsible for, and what they're accountable for. And has authority ever gotten out of control? Maybe. Inside of company, we need to be able to correct and be consistent with the definitions that what accountability and responsibility is. It's so crucial. It's critical, as a matter of fact. They are not just words. They have meaning attached to them. And it's crucial to get those meanings correct each and every time. So let's see if we have any questions. I just love what you said. Thank you. Exactly true, Jim. Thank you. You are so right. Can't agree more. Thank you. Is it possible to be a leader without being accountable? Is responsibility enough? No, you must be accountable. One must be accountable for said actions as well as what we say. Truly. You know, there's two different ways of looking at integrity. One is just for the moment. It's like the rules when we were growing up. And then there's the other that is just who we are as a human being, what we will and will not do. How often do we look at our integrity of ourselves? The accountability says, I'm doing this. Some of us will do that naturally. It's just who we are. It's innately instruction in our DNA as we're moving forward. Really, I want you to look at accountability and responsibility and also authority, but really accountability and responsibility. I really want you guys just to look at that, be with that, and just look, where are you accountable and where are you responsible? And open up a new world for yourselves. See what discoveries that you have for yourself and for your family and for your team, your organization. So in conclusion, in summary, the responsibility can be given or it can be received. It can even be assumed. But that doesn't automatically guarantee, there's no guarantee here, that personal accountability will be taken. A lot of this comes from the heart. Truly, what you embrace and what you say you're accountable for, or what you say you will be responsible for. When someone says you're accountable or you're responsible, that's different than if you take that on yourself and really embrace it as your own. Really. Accountability is a choice. And it's one thing, and only one thing, can only be accountable to one person. You can't have many people accountable to something. Only one person can be that person accountable. Many people can be responsible. If that choice of accountability isn't made, it's possible to have responsibility step in for something or someone, but still lack accountability. In effect, successful and well-positioned businesses, everyone is responsible, really, for their assigned tasks. But only one person can be accountable. Remember that. That one person is responsible to the results or progress of those tasks. And only specific, clearly identified people have the authority to make decisions around those tasks. Same like family job. Thank you, Assam. I appreciate that. I mean, we have people, tuning in from around the world. I just want to acknowledge you guys because you guys want more in your life. You want to be better. You want your organizations and your teams, your communities to be better. And you're taking that step. With that, thank you very much for being here today with us live. And have a blessed day. Until next time.